Alright, so in my videos I like to show you a little something about what I'm doing, where I'm fishing, how I'm fishing, or just some sort of information on what I do to catch fish. In this particular day we're targeting crappies. We're in some really deep water. There's some big trees, some big snags. But the crappies aren't biting that great. I usually start with a plastic, which I did this morning, and I usually start with a small tungsten jig, pink and white. It's usually my go-to. That's just what I have, and it seems to work. It catches fish. And then I tip it with some sort of plastic. This one's a BY Super Minnow. I got black and I got white, and there's another one I really like is this wax tail from Trigger X. But the thing I like about these baits is they got a really small diameter tail on them. And what that does is that moves really freely in the water with very small movements of the rod. So you barely have to move that rod and that tail's down there whipping, and the crappies love that. And I usually fish them up. I get those crappies coming up following it, and then I drop it slowly, incrementally, drop it, little drops, and then that tail is bouncing as it falls down, and they usually pick it on the drop. And I watch my line for when it goes slack, and then that's when I set the hook. Today they weren't hitting the plastic, but I did go to a classic bait that I've used for many years. It's actually what I started out using this method with, and this has been around forever. There's several colors, but it's the Rembrandt. You can see it right here. It's a blade bait with a hook kind of soldered to it, and then it's got this plastic body. You can get it in several different colors. They're great. They catch a lot of fish, but the problem is you have a very small hook gap on these baits. You can see that with that plastic on there, you don't have that barb exposed like you want it to. So you lose a lot of fish. And in this video you'll see I lost a couple fish, maybe 3-4 at the bottom of the hole. The other problem is it's such a light bait, it doesn't have a lot of mass. You can't fish it in the wind, you can't fish it when your hole's freezing up. So you really got to be inside a tent, making sure your hole stays thawed out, because your line is not going to drop. But the other problem is it's so light that you can't pick it up on the flasher. It doesn't make a big mark unless you turn your gain way up. And when you're fishing around trees and you have a gain way up, then you're marking the tree too. So that was a little bit of a problem. Even though I did catch a couple fish on it, I stopped using that and I switched to its sister bait, or its cousin, the Purist, which also has that plastic piece and also takes up that hook gap and doesn't really hook fish all that great, but fish love them and they hit them. This one has a round head. It's a little bit heavier weighted head, and it picks up on your flasher much better. I'm able to turn the gain down and still see that bait on the flasher. And like I said, the problem with it is that hook gap, and I lost fish on this bait as well. So what I got to thinking after fishing that day is, how do I make this great bait that catches all kinds of fish even better? How do I keep those fish on the line so they don't fall off? I got to thinking of ways to modify it, so I thought maybe if I slide that plastic off the hook and then rehook it further down in, maybe it'll expose more of the hook. So if I do that now, you can see that I have much more hook exposed. You can see the one I have on my line compared to the one I just rehooked. It's got so much more hook. So I haven't tried this yet. I just thought of this. I'm going to try it next time I'm out, see if I can get better hookups. But great bait, but doesn't do a good job getting the fish all the way out of the ice. The other thing I do with Rembrandts and Purists is I always use one of these small snaps with them. And what that does is it allows the bait to have freedom of movement. Because what this bait does is, as you bring it up, it's going to be wobbling, and then the fish is going to follow it, and as you see that mark coming to it, now I'll start to drop it. So I'll lower my rod tip incrementally like this, just slowly, and I'll see that mark, that fish coming up to the mark, and grab the bait, and I watch my line. When my line goes slack, that's when I know the fish has grabbed it, and then I set the hook. But I hope this helps you. If you've never used a Pierce or a Rembrandt, I suggest using one. They work great. There's tons of colors. If you stop catching fish on a certain color, then switch colors and you seem to get bit again. But great bait, try it out there and I think you'll catch more crappies. Good morning, I hope you are well. I know I am. I'm heading out fishing early in the morning. I got tipped off on a good crappie bite on Pool 6 of the Mississippi River. So I'm heading out early in the morning. We're going to be fishing around a snag with some deeper water around it. We're going to be pounding on some crappies. Hopefully we put together a nice little video, but stay tuned. I think it's going to be great. Nice crappie. Just got another one. Switched to a Purist, and as soon as I got it down there, he hit it. Purple and white. There, he's got it. There you go. Looks like a good one. Oh yeah, big fish. Crappie. Barely got him. Yeah. Might have another one like this if you want to try it. There we go. Good one. That's what I'm using right there. Got another one. Seem to come in little groups.
Yeah, I know. There's hearing quick.
Well guys, it was a fun day on the water. It was a little bit slow. and lost some fish right at the hole, but all in all, it was a good morning. Got some nice crappies and had fun doing it. So I hope you guys like this video. Thanks for watching.